Hi, I'm Laura with Heart Driven Tarot. Today we're going to do a full moon reading to give us insights on how to best recharge and recalibrate our energy for the next few weeks. And also, the full moon is a great time to honor our achievements and realize and release what no longer serves us, to focus on that. So we have kind of a clear slate. Clear energy. That's what we're always striving for. At least that's what I'm always striving for, so that I can do my best instead of having this inner chaos. And the moon is, I'll show you, hold the camera down. I did put here the full moon. Well, it's both the full and crescent moon. The moon card, Major Arcana, in the tarot deck. Always a mysterious card. It's basically we see the journey, passage through the unknown, and going from the unconscious to the conscious mind. At least that's how I see it. And I will include a link to my video that I did a few years ago on the moon card. So let's jump right in and see in this 7-card reading, which I have created from a combination of several readings I came across. I came up with my own version of this full moon reading. So I hope you find it helpful. I will turn down the camera just so you can see how I'm laying out the cards. We're doing 7 cards. And I will lay these out and explain each. Just that's. Actually need to move that up a little bit. And you won't be able to see everything, but I will show you all the cards. All right, the first card in this full moon reading is going to represent what you've created and manifested since the last moon, since the new moon rather, a few weeks ago. And we have the 9 of Cups reversed. Now, the 9 of Cups is a great card in that the cups symbolize feelings, emotions, sentiments, and the 9 is associated typically in numerology with the completion of a cycle. And what we have in this scene is a man who looks pretty happy. He looks pretty satisfied, as if he has achieved, he's gloating, and it seems, all these achievements, these cups or trophies that he's stacked up. And it's often called the wish card, meaning a wish has been fulfilled. Now, given that the position represents what you've achieved in the last few weeks since the new moon, I would say that this suggests to me that you've been able to clarify inwardly, but it hasn't come out outwardly yet. But you've come up with a vision of how you want things to be, or at least what you're striving for. I know that's true for me, at least, because I was at the beginning of the month, and before I went on a cruise at the beginning of the month, I was wrestling with a lot of things. I was dissatisfied with myself, dissatisfied with my level of achievement or non-achievement. And so I was, during that time on the cruise relaxation, I was focusing on, how do I want things really to pan out? How do I want things to be? So this suggests to me, the 9 of Cups, is that you've been coming up with a vision of how you'd like things to be. It's not yet visible though, because it's reversed. Now the second card is where you are right now. Interesting, the Hangman reversed. Now the Hangman, of course, is a Major Arcana card, card number 12 out of the 22 Major Arcana cards. And for me, when it's upright, the Hangman symbolizes a time or a situation in which you either are in a pause point, you can't move at this point, you're kind of at a standstill, you are at a standstill, or alternatively, you are taking time to reflect and to really look at things anew with a completely different perspective, looking at things with maybe in a way that you've never considered before. Now that where you are right now, given that I selected this reversed, it could suggest, as we enter this full moon on February 24th, that you're coming out of this time of stagnation, of pause, or of reflecting on things with a completely different perspective, and maybe you've decided where you want to go. And that seems to make sense in that we had, since the new moon, you were reflecting on what do you want, what would you like your life to be at its apex? What would make you feel fulfilled? And so I see this as this hangman, I'm stumbling over my words today, this hangman reverse, suggesting that you will be coming out of this time of reflection and looking things in a completely different perspective and getting ready to move into action. Now the next card symbolizes or represents what you should release. How interesting, the Seven of Cups. This makes a lot of sense to me next to the cards that we've just looked at, the Nine of Cups reversed and the Hangman reversed, because the Seven of Cups typically represents a situation in which someone is like completely in a mode of being confused, just having so many options in front of them that they really don't know what choice to make. They are feeling puzzled. They're feeling like there are too many things in front of them, and they just don't know what to do. So this makes sense as far as something that you should release. If you've been going through this up and down, back and forth, like, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Now it's time to make a firm decision during this full moon. And that would make sense because the full moon is or represents a time of completion, of culmination. So now is the time to make your choice and stick with it. And the next card, number 4, represents what you should continue doing. 11, the Justice card, another major arcana card. And this is a very firm, solid image that we see. The Justice, Lady Justice, has her sword of truth sticking straight up toward the sky, representing truth, representing justice. It's her very name. And then in her left hand, she's got the scales of justice. So what you should continue doing is looking at things with a sense of balance, of truthfulness, of being forthright, being firm. Notice her body stance. She's standing very erect and tall and looking confident. And so what you should continue doing and do more of, if you've been a little bit troubled by indecision, etc., is to stand firm on what decisions you finally make in moving forward in your life, or in this particular stage of your life, or this particular month, I would say. And look, I love this particular image of it with the purple curtains behind her, which to me, purple represents spirituality. It's stand firm. What you should continue doing is stand firm in your own truth and what's important to you and what you feel is fair and balanced in your life. That's what you need to continue doing. Then what you can count on is external influences to help you. One of my favorite cards in the tarot deck, the Ace of Coins or Ace of Pentacles, as I've said many times if you've followed me for some time, is that the Ace of Coins or Pentacles in the tarot reminds me of The Secret Garden, the book by, I can't remember her name at the moment, but that famous children's book. Several movies have come out. And it's just that idea of that magical place that has a lot of potential but has been hidden. And the ace suggests it's something new. So the external influences, there may be a divine opportunity. To me, that angelic hand or that divine hand symbolizes an opportunity coming from the universe, coming from the divine. And it's something brand new, and it's something that is auspicious. It has great potential. And so what I see this position, this card is representing, is look in your environment, look at the people with whom you are interacting, look at situations, places you go, and see if there is a seed of opportunity that you can take advantage of over the next few weeks. To me, that just jumps out at me, that's an influence that can help you, that if you look around and be alert, you will identify some areas of opportunity that can help you. And that's become definitely evident in my own experience, even as recently as today. Won't go into it, but that's become clear to me. Now, the next card is how to raise your vibration. And my spiritual coach, Carol DeRay, who I've loved and met way back in 1997, is always talking about how it's important if you want to move forward in your life, if you want to make great strides, is to raise your vibration by coming from your heart. That's why I call this channel Heart Driven Tarot. Raise your vibration. And so I selected the Chariot. Now the Chariot is another major arcana. So how many do we have here? We've got 3 major arcana cards so far in this reading. And the Chariot suggests a time of moving forward, maybe traveling, how you can raise your vibration. Perhaps you need to take a weekend trip or a week-long trip somewhere, because at least from my experience, for me, I love to travel. And anytime, especially if I go by an airplane, fly somewhere, and go into a new environment, it always seems like magic to me. Just the idea that I could fly there and then arrive in a different culture. For example, if I will be going to London and Paris in May with my children, just the mere fact that in 7 or 8 hours I can be in a completely different environment, to me always seems magical, and it raises my vibration. So I would say the Chariot is suggesting to you that in the near future, or at least start making plans for some travel that will raise your vibration by visiting somewhere magical. That's always a great help. And finally, card number 7, a final message from the universe. 7 of Wands reversed. Now, when upright, the 7 of Wands typically represents a situation in which someone is on a high ground but fighting to maintain their position. People are coming out, the opposition is coming at them. It's usually for me, it symbolizes that time where you feel like, oh, you're getting pushback from so many people, but you know your own truth. And looking back at that Justice card, you know what's true for you. You know what is just and what is fair and balanced, and you need to defend yourself. Now, with the final message from the universe, since we're talking about a full moon reading in the particular time of the month, this is suggesting to me that the opposition is going to subside. You're no longer going to be in this position of having to defend yourself or just push back. The things are going to calm down. So I think that's a nice message, final message to get from the universe, that you may have some, if you've had some challenges this past month with other people, with opposition, those are going to subside. Now, as far as the music recommendation, I always have I have several, especially for the full moon, any moon reading. I have, of course, dating myself, Moon Shadow is a song I love from the late 70s by Cat Stevens. Of course, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata is an excellent selection, musical selection, very stirring. And also what's it called? The Silent Moon, I think, let me just double check. A Silent Moon song, I'll have to get the exact title, by the singer Cecilia. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of music that really helps you tap into the energy, especially the full moon. So I hope this reading has been helpful for you. If you've not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And until next time, remember, illumine your mind, inspire your life with tarot.